can grab my leg. Oh my god. Kind of. Line. I would recommend this to anyone. I don't know what to say. I think that it could have been a little bit louder, because Laura told me she was going for like a really overwhelming. I think the touching was like really overwhelming though, it's hard because like with something that's overwhelming though, people want to leave instead of like stay in it, I think.
Laura, I thought your project was very good. And
it's like a bar mitzvah video.
Laura, I'm so happy for you. So old. Huh? You're a woman now. No. That totally is like I think like everything was really well considered, and that you did a really great job of making it feel like, then again, like your motivations behind this have been like, I think, intentionally ambiguous, but hopefully this is what you were going after, because it was just like a sense of, I don't know, like you're sort of forced to occupy space, and like basically like from the very like the fact that like the fact that like something is behind a closed door, and there's like an initiation with the shot, and there's like a waiting line, and just everything, it's like you're in for something, and I think like all of that was really well considered, and it's because it builds up all this anticipation. And the good thing about your project is that the anticipation is actually met with something substantial, and more than that, it's unexpected as well. I think it's especially unexpected if you had no idea like what the project was going to be, but like the touching was totally like so yeah, I'd say like good job, and like good job with like taking some like really random, like a lot of people do like really random colorful things, but this felt more substantial. I think a lot of people like our age like to comment on like the fact that we're bombarded with images or whatever, but I think making it into translating your comment into more of like a sensory experience, I think is much more powerful than like a lot of the other ways that people have tried to explore that. So, congrats.
I think one thing I would have preferred was if there was less grabbing, just because that really, it was like a ticklish kind of thing where like it's not really bothersome, but whenever it happens you kind of like jolt, so that kind of got in the way of me actually looking around at what was at the box, and like I was just constantly worried about like where and who was gonna grab me next. So I think like if there was a little less of that, maybe. Yeah, it felt like there were a lot of people grabbing me, so I was just constantly worried about that. But besides that, I thought it was really, really great. Like really great. It definitely like changes your atmosphere completely, and in all like sorts of dimensions. So I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Happy bat mitzvah, Laura.
I guess it was pretty successful. I got 22 people came. I got 2 double dippers, and all the people who helped me like stayed pretty much for the whole time. I guess I can describe the project in like a literal sense. You would walk into this fabric covered like walls and ceiling, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind of like this glow coming from like this box, and then there'd be kind
the glow would hopefully, like, there was 2 arrows painted on the boxes where there's 2 holes in the box where you can like put your head, and you put your head in this box, and the whole thing is completely mirrored, and there's a rear projection which you're facing, and the projection is this like jitter patch called amoeba, which is like the coolest, most beautiful thing I think I possibly have ever seen. It's just a series of geometric shapes and colors, and the way me and Sean kind of like decided like it would do. It's controlled by one of the controllers. There's a controller and there's a joystick, and one of the controllers actually skips throughout the video. There's different videos, so there's different like patterns of shapes according to what's like on the screen. Like there's a disco ball, and that one would always kind of be kind of dark with like bursts of like colors, and then there's one of my friend running, and then that would be like this crazy array of colors. And yeah, anyway, so the patch kind of controlled the image by volume. It would change the saturation, and then one of the controllers would also skip within the movie sequence. There was also in each compartment of the box like an LED, and what I did when I constructed the box was there's 2 holes, and I wanted people to assume that when going in the box that they would see their friend or the person they're going in with, but in reality they would actually see a wall which is completely mirrored. So you would turn to see that comforting kind of like, oh my god, we're in this together, and then them not be there, and you're completely isolated in this like box world. The sound was a series of field recordings which then went through I don't know, I think like 4 or 5 different like sound generators, which would like either like speed up or slow down the sound. Then like quad mix, which is kind of like how much of each sound you'd hear depending on where the joystick's located. There was also like this computer like kind of thing. What else? Yeah, I guess conceptually it all started out with the idea of a discomfort. I liked the idea of building kind of like the sound in sight, like torture chamber. Something that would kind of let your senses go into overdrive. I don't know if it did that completely, and I think I was aiming to create and build something that I wouldn't want to experience. I wanted to build something that I would never like want to be a part of, and I think what I made was something I wanted to be a part of and like experience. I think I used a lot of what I learned from my midterm to kind of work on this final by having like a smaller space, less people within the space, only the top 2 people could be in, so there'd be a line that'd form outside, which I think would build up like this like sense of like anticipation of what's inside, and you would hear the people inside like yell from the outside, because when they initially got touched, people would tend to scream. And girls actually tended to scream more than guys. Guys sometimes would be kind of like creepy and like silent, which is like fine. But I just wanted to mess with people's perception about what was going on, and I think that's why I had the screamers. Like someone, like the girl I just interviewed, was saying how she didn't know if the person talking to her was her friend or like someone else. And like same with the touchers, that like she felt someone grab her and she hit her friend, and her friend's like, hey, why'd you hit me? And it wasn't her friend. Yeah, I guess I can answer more questions during class.